This is Andree Hurst of the Lafayette Historical Society Oral History Project. Today is August 7th, 2024, and I am speaking with Conti Clutts, who has quite a history here in Lafayette. Kim, tell us a little bit about your early years here in Lafayette, and when did that begin?
Oh my goodness. It started in 1959, I guess. I was born in Walnut Creek, and then I went home to Lafayette. So I don't know what to say.
Tell us about your parents. Start with the basics, their names.
Okay, my dad is George James Conti. My mom was, she'd kill me if she knew I'd say this, Elizabeth, but she was Betty Josephine Conti. We lived on off of Spring Hill Road. Went Spring Hill to Blackhawk to Meadowlark Court. We lived next door to the Marchands, which I'm sure is a big name in your, he's a builder, huge builder. And I went all the way through Spring Hill School to Stanley, to, I know you're laughing, to Akalani's, to St. Mary's. So,
Wow, it's
yeah.
great. And even today, you're involved with St. Mary's. Is that right?
Yes, I'm on the alumni board of directors because I went through there. Gosh, this is all about me, I guess.
It is all about you.
No, this is not.
Your memories.
So yeah, I went there. I had planned on going to UCSB where my sister had gone, and then my sister ended up staying down there, and her name is Linda Louise Conti, who's now Gilpin. And she went off to college there and stayed there, and so my dad didn't want another one of his children to be a Southern California kid.
So she's older than you?
Yeah, she's 12 years older.
Do you have any other brothers or sisters?
Yes, I have a younger brother, John, who is in Southern California. He's actually in Laguna Niguel. So he's John Robert Conti. He's a doctor down in San Juan Capistrano. And so he too ended up down there. So I had gotten into UCSB, and my dad, and I was all excited, and he said, "You're not going there." And I said, "Oh, yes, I am." And he said, "No, you're not. You're going to St. Mary's." And I'm like, "No, okay, Dad."
Was part of that. Now, your father had a dealership here. Tell us about that.
Yeah, he had Butler-Conti Dodge, and he bought it from Gorgie Butler, which, lovingly Gorgie, but I think it's Goral Butler. And Gorgie enjoyed playing golf, and so he found this young man, my dad, George, who wanted to, take over the dealership, and he sold it to him in 1959. So here's my dad, who has a new baby daughter, and a 12-year-old daughter, and a new Dodge dealership in town. And so I grew up on a bumper of a car. It's Mopar and no car, and that's all I drive. So, let's see.
Is that to this day?
Yeah, I have 4.
Wow.
I have a race car, a Scat Pack. It's a 2018. I have an '06 Charger, which has got a cold blower on it, which I drive, that stays at the house here in California. I have a 1970 Dodge Challenger. It's a 340 with, does this make any sense to you at all?
It's very cool. So what I'm hearing is when you were growing up and the dealership, that you obviously took an interest in cars, and it must have been really fun.
Well, yeah, it was, because that's how I got to be with my dad. So the Challenger is a 1970 ragtop. So it's a convertible. It's got a 340 engine, solid engine, just solid. I used to race her a long time ago.
Wow, where did you race?
Well, all over.
And
I
what
have
kind
that
of racing is that called?
Well, it was from Akalani's High School to Sun Valley, and then Fish Ranch, just the back road, San Pablo Dam Road, up to what is now Blackhawk. down at Infineon also.
Was there like a track?
No, this is off street. This is street racing.
Whoa!
I know. It sounds
So it's
really
sort
bad.
of like Monte Carlo or something, huh?
No,
Do they
not at all. It was, well, people back then, I wasn't allowed to cruise the Main, but I did. And so you'd see a cute boy and me and my girlfriends would wave and they'd wave, and then, we'd pull over at the bowling alley in Walnut Creek or Lippert's or anyway, and just talk to him and then decide we didn't like him, so we tried to get away from him. So there's 4 of us girls going, and off we would go. So, the love of cars has always been something. Like I said, when you grow up with your dad, and I'd go back to work with him, he would pretty much get up in the morning, do his exercises, and then he'd take me to school. And I don't even know where I'm going with this, other than to say, he would, and then when I got my own license, my first car was a 66 Barracuda, which had a V8. Wow. I know. Dangerous for a kid. Anyway, and so I just think that there's just the evolution of, and back then girls weren't into cars. They are now. And I have to tell you, the last of the 4 cars is a 1940 Dodge truck, which I am in the process of building. I'm just getting started on it, as you can tell by my yucky fingers. But it's named George because when I was in high school and my dad said, well, what kind of car do you want? I said, a truck. And he said, nice girls don't drive trucks. And I was just like, well, okay, then. And that's kind of the joke, is I've named this pre-war car because he fought in the Korean War and World War II. George, after him, and to say, nice girls do drive trucks, and I'm going to drop a Hemi in it and make sure that it's on a Dakota chassis so that it's substantial, because the torque in that would just, it's solid steel, but it is a 1940s. It's an old car, old truck. And so I just have to substantiate.
I imagine you got to know the roads pretty well around here. When you drive them now, how have things changed?
There's houses. I was just talking to, this weekend is the St. Mary's, it's a scholarship. The Alumni Board of Directors puts on a scholarship fundraiser. And one of the guys in the winery, one of the gentlemen who owns a winery in the Lafayette Hills is actually a place where a bunch of us used to go hang out and fly kites up Release Valley Road. Or actually Happy Valley Road, I should say. Mm-hmm. And so that's the biggest difference, is that it's, very populated now. We had one stoplight. We had Taco Bell, which we were so excited about, and Jack in the Box, and that was it. Wow. And when the Lafayette Park Hotel was built, we were like, who would ever stay there? It's right by the cemetery. It looks like the cemetery. And I love staying there. My best friend Annie and I go there, and we get little spa days and eat lunch and act really
you
important.
Feel like you're in another country almost.
No. We don't ever feel like we're in a different country. We're just like, we laugh at ourselves because we were like, remember this was the gross place that we thought dead people lived in. So, this whole area wasn't here.
This Fiesta?
Yeah. This was. Mm-hmm. And Petar's, one of my dad's really dearest friends, Petar. And it's funny because I know he was here, and then he was down there, and he was over there, and down Mount Diablo Boulevard.
And he was where the old coop is?
Yes. Well, it encapsulated that whole area right there.
Now it's the hidden kitchen, I think.
Yeah, it just keeps flopping names.
They don't even put the name up, just because it's hidden.
Oh, well, that's it.
Yeah.
And the Roundup was always there. And when I was in high school, it was a big biker bar, and now it's a St. Mary's bar because...
Karaoke bar. They do karaoke all the time. They always have the karaoke sign up.
Well, then you can go and play there, right?
Yeah, right.
Um,
Where Sideboard is, which was the old general store
Yep.
on the green.
Mm-hmm. See, and I know Sideboard because of Danville.
Mm-hmm.
That's where we would always go. In fact, I'm going there tomorrow morning.
Yes.
In Danville. So, yeah, no, it's just...
Are you happy with the way the town has grown compared to other towns in the area?
I hate to compare anything to anything because you always lose. Or you always win, but then it makes something else look bad, and I don't like to do that. It is what it is. You can only look forward, and hope that...
When did you feel the developmental pressure really started here? Do you remember?
Pressure. Do you mean the influx of great money? No, I don't, because I was never aware of it. I think that when you grow up in a small town, you're just used to life the way it is, and you don't realize it until you move out of the area. I mean,
when did you move out of... let's finish up the story about the dealership. So,
okay.
How long did your father have it, and then did you take it over?
He had it, I think, like 52 years. No, I wanted to, and my mom didn't want to sell it to us. Mm-hmm. She didn't think that I had the, I'll call it, bandwidth to be able to operate a dealership. And she might have been right, but I don't think so, because I had put together it was like a 17-page how we would restructure Butler-Conti. Mm-hmm. It being into a more of a, I hate to say a chop shop, because people kind of put that together with stolen cars. It wouldn't be that. It would be high-end cars that were modified to meet people's needs. And I think it would have done really well. It turned out the way I guess it was supposed to be.
Sure.
But that was a really hard pill to swallow.
Okay.
Because...
Well, you had grown up with it.
Well, and I think that, my brother was a doctor, and he was, off being Mr. Doctor, and my sister was down in Southern California, didn't want it, and I wanted it.
Mm-hmm. It's good.
Yeah.
It's good. Still
Okay.
running.
When you point down
sure,
at me,
still
look.
running.
Yeah. I forgot about it.
Yeah.
So no, he had it. It's a really sad story. My dad being type A personality, you have a business, and he went in for a double knee replacement surgery. Mm-hmm. And I guess he was put out for too long. And when he came back, he was okay for about the first, I'd say, 6 hours. And then he looks at me and he said, he said, Linda, where's Jim? And I said, Dad, it's me, Kim. And he said, get Lauren, who is our oldest daughter, out of Southern California. It's on fire. And I remember, Lauren is our oldest daughter, and she was going to Long Beach. And I'm like, And so he was just kind of not making sense. So I spoke with his nurse, and he said, well, sometimes they're a little wacky when they come out of surgery, and, maybe. Yeah. And he was really getting anxious, and they gave him a drug called Ativan, which, I don't even know if I can say this without,
We could just say they gave him a drug.
Well, yeah, no, it's not necessarily, no, it just catches me in the throat. And it, they said, Kim, go to dinner. You've been here a lot. Just go to dinner. he'll be better when you come back. And I said, okay. So I came back and they had restrained him to the bed. And he was so anxious, he wanted to leave. And I said, Dad, he said, this is a hard one. He said, untie me, put me in a chair, and sneak me out of the back. Woo. And I said, Dad, I said, I can't take care of you. You've got to stay here. You've got to do physical therapy. And he's like, no. They said I have to go to a hospital. And then just about that time, his doctor came in, and his doctor said, well, Mr. Conti, you're going to have to go to this rehab center. And he's like, no, Betty can take care of me, which was my mom. And my mom wasn't there. And he said, no, she's 5 foot, you're 6'2". Well, Kim will come and stay. And I'm like, yeah, I'll come and stay. And he's like, no, you're going to have to just go there. You'll be there just a short while.
Sure.
So, long story longer, they gave him more Ativan, and it fried his brain, and he pretty much died. He was in the war, and during the war, this story goes on and on and on. He was out in the South Pacific. He was a gunner, and they had to eat their K rations because of the bombing of Pearl Harbor. And there was botulism, and it made him sick, and he woke up stateside like 2 months later and had a heart valve problem, which he proceeded to get fixed later on. And he was very upset about it. He walked around saying he had a pig heart, a pig valve in his heart. I'm like, oh God, Dad, where do you get this stuff? But anyway, so that was a really hard thing. So, to go into work.
Especially when you think he's just going in for knee surgery.
Well, it was double knee replacement surgery. And normally people don't do two.
Like one at a time.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, type A, very driven, very healthy. He was very, very healthy. And it just, sometimes things happen the way they happen. And
so after that happened, did he still have the dealership at that point?
Yes. Absolutely. He was going to die there, and we were going to bury him in the back, and he was going to watch him.
That must have really been difficult for the family to suddenly figure out what to do.
I had no problem with it. I knew what I was going to do. I was going to take it over, and it wouldn't be a big deal. But like I said, my mom didn't want us to do that. We had 3 small kids, and she was afraid that we would lose our socks. And so she wouldn't sell it to us. So we had put together a proposal with our financial guy, good old Rob Regan. And
so that didn't work. So then did she sell it and it just went away?
No. Sorry, I have to get a drink.
And what year was this that your father passed?
2006.
2006. And so the dealer was still going. And sorry for my ignorance, but
No.
Where
You don't know.
was it?
Where was it?
Yeah.
Do you know where? I think it's called the Crash Cars. It's right by Mount Diablo Boulevard. So, do you know where Blackwood Lane is? Mount Diablo Boulevard in Blackwood. So we owned the property all the way back from. Well, it was Mike's Auto Body.
Oh yeah.
So we own. So Mike's. Well, I don't know if I'm allowed to disclose any of that stuff. But anyway.
Then it was over in that.
No, it's all that over to. Back to the post office. And then, do you know where Mickey's Tire?
Yeah.
Okay, so behind Mickey's, all the way back to where, like, Chameleon Designs.
Yeah.
So all that property up to, like, where the garbage company was.
Wow, that's a lot of property.
It was, Yeah.
So did your family or your mother decide to break it up after it?
No. We had it until last year.
Okay.
So it's been recently acquired. Last year? Year before last? I have to think about it. I think it was last year. funny.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
yeah, we had a really, really long time. And Mike Rose, really nice guy, really nice family, just rented it from us. And then, there were a couple other, I think, 13, 15 other businesses that rented property from us.
Okay.
Yeah. And Carl Conti. So my Uncle Carl, Conti's Cameras, might be.
I interviewed him.
Isn't he the best? He is solid. He is one of my favorite people in the whole wide world. Uncle Carlo. Mm-hmm. Yep. He's so funny. In fact, yeah.
He loved that line of work because he said it was happy work. People were always happy when they came in to get their photographs.
I know. But it was happy. And that, that poor industry was really sad. My dad sent for him because they both grew up, my dad was from a farming family in Pennsylvania. Mm-hmm. And my Uncle Carlo I call him Uncle Carlo because we're Italian, is the youngest in the family. Mm-hmm. And so my dad wanted him out in California with his wife, my Aunt Pat, and Cheryl, because Cheryl was really little. Scotty wasn't born yet. And so my dad, sent for them, and they came out and they lived with us for a little while.
Why?
Oh, quite a while. And then Uncle Carlo got a house in Walnut Creek. Mm-hmm. These cute kids.
Big bikes.
I know. I'd fall off those things.
You mentioned to me that, what do you think it was about this area that attracted Italian families? Was it the original agricultural fruit tree capability of? I was just wondering, do you have an insight into that? Because there are.
That's a funny question. I don't know. I think it was just the land of opportunity. I think it was everybody has a dream, and if you're young and you have, my dad worked for Berkeley in the print shop with Stan White. So, I think what happens is there's something that calls you in the night.
Yeah.
And for my dad, it was cars.
Yep.
And, I always call him Mr. Berzoni, Mr. McCullough.
When we first sat down, you were naming off the families.
Mm-hmm.
So that's fascinating. What are the ones that you remember, the Italian families in the area? The big names?
Well, I don't think they're really big names. They're just names that I grew up with. So the Berzonis, the Travellinis, the Tancredis. I didn't really even think about them, quote, being, I'm just trying to think of the businessmen and here. Like you said, you had asked me about earlier, you didn't so much as say wealth, but it was nobody ever cared about what anybody had because we were just kids running around. The Hoffman family, the Campanas, the Courtrights. They're just my dad's Goombas, his old pals, and I remember the Blodgetts. Oh my gosh, the Borgwards. They're just families that, we didn't ever. No,
this is their
This is just, and that's what I think is that, Russell built houses. My dad always called him Russell. I called him Mr. Berzoni. But, and they became friends. And I remember they bought a bazillion cars from us. And I think that came from the fact that when my dad was first starting off, and Mr. Berzoni was first starting off, I remember the story that he came to my dad and said, George, I don't have enough money to pay you now, But back then it was a handshake. It was they looked at each other and said, okay, when you've got the money, I'm building these homes and I can't keep enough trucks going, and we've got little young families, and my dad's like, yeah, don't worry about it. And I think that's Joey Tancredi, I think that's just the way they always did it, is that, hey, I don't have a lot, but here's what I have and I'll share with you. I'll fix your this.
I know you. You're not going
Yeah.
anywhere.
Yeah, I know,
Trust you.
Yeah. I mean, this was Mount Diablo Boulevard was the extent of it. When Deer Hill Road came in, oh my gosh, we thought that was so cool because you could get through.
To Pleasant Hill.
Yeah. I mean, you just, yeah. So this is progress. In one regard, it's kind of a kick in the teeth in the other, in that, who can afford the rent? No wonder brick and mortar places are going by the waysides.
It's a very tough time.
It is a tough time.
Because of also the pressure of online, getting on Amazon,
I know,
instead of coming down and supporting your business.
No, my dad used to say, in fact, I have the bumper sticker in my garage. It says, "Buy American."
What of that? Everything must go.
What are you pointing at?
Store closing. The clock store.
Oh, gosh. We used to take our clocks there all the time. That is so sad. No, he used to say, "Buy American, the job you save will be your own. Maybe your own."
Oh, I love that quote.
I know. It's on a bumper sticker in my garage. Buy American, the job you save, maybe your own.
Maybe your own.
And it's really true, and I didn't ever realize how true it was until probably in the last 10 years, 20 years.